Model submarines is a patience game. You can build them fairly quickly, but then it takes you a long time to trim them out to make sure you know exactly what they're going to do. In some situations, it's heart tablet time. The water can be very murky some places you said, so that you can send it down and suddenly lose it and hope that it's coming back. We've lost one in Chatham Docks for 15 to 18 months, which appeared after the third time of draining the lake.
People asked me about the rust on this boat, and the way I did it was I took it out into the garden and I sprayed it with a garden spray until it was really dripping wet. Then I sprinkled iron filings everywhere and just left it out there for 3 days, and I damped it down again occasionally. So the rust has really adhered where the water's run down the sides and has streaked where it would normally streak. And yeah, this is real rust. That's how it was done.
It's one of those hobbies that once you get interested and understand how they work, they're not a black art. They're simple, really. Basically, you just got to move water in and out of the hull some way or other. Once you get hooked on it, it's a very difficult thing to break away.
HMS Starling, 1943, modified Black Swan sloop, and was scrapped in 1967, but she was in commission till 1963. Most famous U-boat killer of the war.
Fair enough.
She was involved in sinking 22 U-boats.
I just love messing about with boats. And the funny thing is, I'm a lousy sailor. When we go on the ferries, anywhere, I usually head for a bunk, I'm afraid, but I love messing about with boats. Steam engines, diesel engines, the glow plug, the fast boats, anything like that. I just love messing about with them. It's a challenge. I made my first steam engine when I was about 15. There were 2 of us at school, and we used to mess about with all sorts of things like this. We used to take them to school and get told off, because we'd have a steam engine running across the floor, little traction engines that we'd made. But it's just a bug that I've always had. I like boats, I like steam engines. I was looking for something different, and that one, instead of the bow going outwards and the stern going outwards, this one's, it's a bent banana shape, and the whole deck and everything looks like it's melted inwards, and I thought, ugh, but it looks different. We'll build that one. But I didn't do it exactly to the plan. I chopped off bits and altered bits here and there. It looks pretty good. The bit in the bow is a working anchor winch, a homemade one. It lets the anchor down swiftly and pulls it up slowly, just like a real one, under radio control. Emily here, this is nearly a year's worth of work. 3-4 hours a day, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of that. Every single thing, including the railings that you can see, the bollards, all these various pieces, everything, are all homemade from basic bits that anybody can buy from the nearest model shop. There's nothing fancy in this one at all. In fact, the chimney is 22mm copper plumbing pipe. It's nothing special. The rest of it is just pieces of mahogany, pieces of brass, a lot of which I scrounge from here, there and everywhere. Anybody who knows me brings me lumps of brass. They don't bring prezzies, they bring a bucket full of brass and say, here you are, and I'm very happy with that because I can turn it into a steam engine. To me, I have built this boat. For a kit, I assemble it. It's different. It's not something that I look at and think, I did that, because it's just me. I like to think I built those pieces. The kitchen rudder on Emily. There are 2 semicircular cups each side of the propeller, which can be swung as a pair to turn one way or as a pair to turn the other way. If those 2 cups are swung closed, the flow from the propeller instead of going out the back, which pushes the boat forwards, the flow from the propeller hits the inside of the cups and is deflected round back to the front end of the boat, so it goes backwards. So if you take the cups as a pair and swing them left or right, the boat can actually go backwards in a straight line, or it will actually spin on a sixpence. And it will spin on a sixpence. It's one of its party tricks. If you have an engine that will go forwards and reverse, you only need a straight flat blade rudder. But if you've only got a simple engine, which is how a lot of the steam engines were, it only goes easily in one direction. The rudder will reverse the direction of the boat from only a simple engine.
Well, it's a double-acting steam engine. It's got its name. Before it was finished, we was at an exhibition and the chap said, Gordon Bennett, that's going to be nice.
How long did it take you to make it?
About 3 years, I think.
3 years, a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there.
Yeah. And it's all made out of odds and ends, sort of scrap balsa for the hull.
it?
Well, I think the only thing that's bought on it is the actual paddle wheels themselves.
Really?
So they're a bit difficult, and the funnel's made out of a piece of rainwater pipe.
What made you want to build a paddle boat?
Well, it's nice to see the paddles going around, isn't it? It makes a distinctive weight.
Yeah. So Dave, how long did it take you to build Nicky?
We started in October.
And finished in May, Dave.
You finished.
Now, lads, now. So how come you both built them more or less at the same time? Was it for a competition or anything?
Personal challenge, really. We both wanted to pick a boat that would be easy to take to different events, and we both decided on this one.
So John, what's the feeling like when she goes in the water?
Well, you've actually built it and created it, and if it sails right, you know, it does make you feel good, you get a bit of a glow on. Sometimes it doesn't go quite to plan, and...
What kind of problems would you have, like?
Well, run out of water halfway round, or the gas, and it just stops in the lake and it could overheat and basically melt down in the boat.
So why do you love the steamboats the most, John?
I'm an old-fashioned person, and these were the sort of old boats when I was a young man that I used to dream of in the old days.
Yeah. It's nice, though, isn't it, that you can bring it back to life now?
Oh, yeah.
Why steam?
Well, I've got sailing boats. I belong to a sailing club, and I've got motorised boats, fast boats and slow boats. But this is sort of an old-fashioned sort of area. I mean, you
got a bit of romance to it, hasn't it?
Yes, and it's peaceful.
Yeah.
They're very easy to make too.